The US trucking industry is in the middle of a massive shakeup. According to the May 2025 ITS supply chain report, 7,474 trucking businesses exited the market in April alone, the highest number in the past 12 months and a 26% spike compared to March. This surge marks one of the most volatile periods for the industry since the pandemic era freight boom came to an end. This market calls for fraud. Josh Allen, Chief Commercial Officer at ITS Logistics, said the turmoil in the global supply chain is creating a dangerous landscape, not just for truckers, but for shippers and brokers as well. Extreme turnover, like we are seeing in today's capacity market, creates an environment ripe for fraud, and it's already a huge issue for shippers who don't have an established network of trusted logistics providers. As carriers drop out, bad carriers flood in. Fraudulent dispatchers, brokers, and even ghost carriers are capitalizing on the confusion. Data from Sonar shows that carrier authority revocations have averaged 1,500 per week since January 1st, a nearly 8% increase year over year. So 1,500 carriers are shutting down their doors each week in United States. April exodus paints a clearer picture. 7,474 carrier exits in single month. Fleets with 5,000 plus trucks declined by 3.3%. This decline comes despite an overall increase in trucks active in commerce in March. There's also surprising uptick in new entrants. Now, this really surprised me. I read about this the other day, but I didn't pay much attention to it. But ironically, even with record exits, new trucking authorities surged in April. According to Sonar, new entrants jumped 48% month over month. Let that sink in. In April, there were 48% more new trucking companies that entered the industry than in March, the previous month for this year. New trucking authorities also went up 30% year over year. And this is also 49% higher than the pre-pandemic April averages. Spring is usually when owner-operators test the waters in the spot markets. This year, however, that interest has been supercharged, largely due to tariff-driven disruptions in freight flows. This trade policy creates confusion. These new tariffs are pushing shippers to reroute goods, creating bottlenecks in inland truck routes. What this all means is that the trucking industry is experiencing churn at an unprecedented level. Seasoned carriers are folding under economic pressure, and new entrants flood the markets, chasing spot market surges, and we'll see if that's going to happen. Fraud and risk are growing, especially for shippers without solid relationships, and this also goes for brokers and also for carriers. Mid to large fleets are shrinking, unable to stay competitive in rate-driven market. Whether you're a broker, shipper, or a driver, it's clear the landscape of US trucking is changing fast and permanently. Now, what can we all take away from this? If you have all these trucking companies exiting, and if you have all these trucking companies that are experienced just closing doors, and at the same time you have a record level of new entrants coming in, this will create a chaos in the trucking industry, and we have no idea how that's going to turn out for the existing carriers like us who are trying to follow the rules and stay in this business, stay profitable, and stay open. Mega carriers at the same time are trying to influence US laws and trying to cut down the rates and the contract rates in order to to stay the only ones that are in this industry because they're based on volume, like, for example, Walmart is. And if their profit margins are low, it still adds up due to them having thousands and thousands of trucks and drivers. At this level, if you have all these new companies coming in, and if the statistics say that most trucking companies will close within the first year, and that a very large portion of them will close within the next 5 years from the moment when they open up, then if the spot markets are like this right now, if all these inexperienced new trucking companies are flooding this market, how long are they going to stay in business? I think most of them will close in 6 months, or they're just going to do what they call as putting their MC authority on hold. But in my experience, in my opinion, you just don't do that. There is no way of doing that in a normal way. Because think about it, if you are creating a new MC authority and you realize that this is not working, you have to have active insurance and you have to be using that authority in order for that authority to stay active. If you deactivate it, or if you put it on hold, like many people say, there is no way you're going to reactivate that authority anytime soon. You're just going to close it, and that's it. Now, if you have experienced truck drivers and trucking companies exiting the industry, and you have everyone that's coming in here, this will create a chaos, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about this phenomena. Let me know what you think that this could do to the existing market. Are the spot rates going to be better? Are they going to stay the same? Or are they going to get worse? Because remember, these new trucking companies, they don't know what the rates should be and what the profitable rates should be for them. It took us all long time to figure out what our cost per miles are and what we need in order to be profitable. And with the ever-changing markets and the fuel prices, insurance and maintenance, you have to keep following those increases in order to figure out what your profitable rate is going to be. These people don't know any of that. In my opinion, they're just going to take whatever there is just to keep moving, and that actually might not be good for spot rates. But once they figure out that this is not working for them, then we might see better rates in the future. This is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. I'll see you later.